Okay, here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put a throttle body fuel injector on a 1953 Golden Jubilee tractor, that is. And it turns out it bolts right up to the intake. This is the 1100 model. It's a Sniper. We have to create a linkage, so in order to do so, we've got this spinning on a fidget spinner. It mounts right up to this plate. That's kind of a goofy way to do it, but it turns out it worked out pretty nice. And that'll spin here, and that'll work the throttle body opening. Some of you might be wondering, what the hell are you doing? You just took a downdraft throttle body and put it on an updraft carburetor intake, and that's true. Don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it and find out. All right, time for a Golden Jubilee update. We got our O2 sensor installed with the bung that straps onto the exhaust. We couldn't get it any closer because this would have been ideal, but didn't really have a easy way of making that happen. So we stuck it over here, and we think we got a good seal. Pretty sure rednecks from miles around would come to admire this kind of work. But, you know, it's just a tractor. So we've got the pump here. Went with the Evil Energy. So should be sufficient, and picked up the accompanying fuel filter. It comes with the fittings, really simple, put together. I'll show you how we get that attached here later. So it turns out you used to use these old oil air intake filters. Kind of a crazy way to clean the air, but it makes sense. So if you take it off, you've got a nice little mounting bracket right here for the filter, and you just put your fittings on, and this will fit nicely under the cowling, and just route these where you need them. All right, we made a little progress on our Sniper throttle body, so let's take a look here. I replaced the other 100 micron, no, I'm sorry, 10 micron, yeah. It's a 10 micron filter, because that one had a return on it. We don't need that, and so we got the right one in here. No return on this one. Got it plumbed in. Comes on over here into the inside, the intake here. Then here's the return from the throttle body, so we don't need the other one like I just mentioned. We come around over here to the other side, and I mounted the fuel pump and 100 micron filter on this plate. What I did is I just drilled a hole here in this bracket that already exists, and then use this bracket here that already exists. And you might notice there's a space in between here, and that's because right back over here there's that old oil cap. So I left that oil cap on there, and I just drilled a hole in there and pushed it up against it. There's no need to put the wing nut back on there because it'll hold quite nicely on there now. So you might think that that's in the way, but it's really not. And it'll hold in place nice here. If I feel like we need to, maybe we'll add another bolt hole, but I think that might do it. Depends on vibration and whatnot. We'll see how it goes. Also replace the thermostat sensor. This is just a couple of brass fittings I found at Home Depot that fit right in there. This is the sensor that goes right, that came from Sniper, that came with the throttle body. So got that to fit in there. Feel pretty good about it. That's going to work. So we're getting closer. Soon we'll get it plumbed up. And the return, I got a little surprise. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it, but I have an idea. We have to do a return in this fuel tank somewhere, and I've seen some where they put it in the back, and of not tractors, but other places. So I got an idea, and I'll share that with you when I get there. Well, all right, we got a little more progress on the Golden Jubilee. We got the linkage working. So as we use the throttle, we can see that it's going to work. Hopefully it'll be all right. We're also starting to get the wiring in place here, so let's take a look at that. What we did is we took this bundle of wires and ran it over to the other side here. Walk around the tractor here and show you what we got going on. Is this is the harness that comes with it, and we were able to just mount that nicely to the plate that we have here for the fuel pump. And so now we just have some wiring to do. We got the fuel pump wire here, got the battery needs to go, and we got a coil wire. And this isn't going to go anywhere because it's not going to be used. So hopefully we'll get her wired up and maybe fired up. Well, all right, I think we got her done as far as wiring goes. The only thing left now is the return. So we got our positive and negative hooked up to the battery like we're supposed to. Got our pink wire that comes up here to the back of the ignition. It's supposed to always be on. Got our linkage on there in its way. We got the bung done, and all of our wiring is done. Basically grounded it out here to this plate here, and we're all ready to go. Only thing left to do is the return and for the fuel, and we can fire it up. Some of you might be wondering what you can do when you're drilling into a tank to keep the metal shavings out. Well, I had two ideas that seem to work pretty well. So I'm going to flip this around. One of them, when you're drilling into the tank, is to use a shop vac and whatever can fit down in there to suck the holes out while you're drilling. It's going to pull up a lot of stuff, but the real key is to just use a magnet. One of these telescoping magnets is real handy. You just put it down in there and just let it do its work. Sweep it around, grab a little flashlight, take a look down inside the tank, and try to get it as clean as you can. It does a pretty decent job. So then of course you can also rinse it out, because the big metal shavings will come out, but the small fine stuff won't. So that's what I tried. Well, here we are. We got her all. Got the return line on. Comes up to the tank. We got our fuel gauge wired up. We got our new fuel gauge in here. Water pump, or fuel pump. Linkage. EFI. Bung. And fuel pump and fuel filter. So the only thing left is hook it up, see if it runs. So the way I decided to handle doing the return line, a lot of you guys might be wondering how to do it. There's a kit you can buy, which basically it gives you the fittings that you need. This goes down in the tank right here. It's polypropylene, so gas isn't going to be wearing on it and anything like that. So what I decided to do is to do a little something extra. I decided to give this old tractor a fuel gauge. All right, so by giving it a fuel gauge, I also give myself a hole for a return right here, and I can put my return in there, and I'm going to be able to get underneath there and get the thing screwed in there. So that's my solution for it, for this old tractor. See if that works out. Okay, here we go. The maiden ignition. That's a fuel pump, 5 seconds. All right, we got to set things. Go to the wizard. We got to pick our Sniper Auto Light 1100, 4 cylinders. And just displacement, in this particular case, we're 134 cubic inches. Let's see, 134. Okay. Next, target idle speed. We'll do 470. Stock mile. Negative coil, because we aren't going to mess with any of that right now. And it saves it. Okay. Throttle body fuel injection on a tractor. Oh. Look at our gauges. We don't see anything in yellow or red. A little bit of the air-fuel ratio right there, but let's make an adjustment. I bet you thought I forgot about the air cleaner. Nope, but it was a tough nut to crack, I'll give you that. Here's what we did. We went and grabbed ourselves an air cleaner that we had to flip the plastic piece around, not use the base, and that gave us a nice lip here. And then we just attached it with the bolt on the back side there. And we had to take the oil filter off just to get to it, which means that you gotta, in order to take the air cleaner off, you do have to take the oil filter off. But, you know, everything's not perfect, but I think it'll work. So there it is put together. There ain't much room in between the air cleaner and the filter, but it'll work.